how episode 6 should have ended. Hey, Professor Kukui. Hey, Ash. Hey, weren't you supposed to be watching the house? Oh, shit. Hello everybody, Tajri here, and welcome back to Pokemon Sun and Moon Anime Reviews. Today we will be reviewing episode 6. This episode is titled Zing Zap Togedemaru. This episode, it was cool. I mean, it did its job. It did its job of introducing Sophocles and developing his character. Because like I said, the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime is actually doing a really good job having a lot of the trial captains be the cast of the series. And rather than having them all lumped up together with Ash traveling from place to place, they're all getting their own episodes to develop. Like, Ash will develop an episode with Sophocles, and then one with Lana, then with Malo, then with Kiwi, and, it just goes on into that pattern. Or he may just have episodes where he develops by himself, which works because Ash needs development, even though he's been going for about 20 years. But it's good to see that he's getting more development, because one of the things I want to mention is in the plot summary, so let's get started. The episode begins with Professor Kukui leaving to go grab some stuff in town. And because he's doing that, Ash is in the home by himself, and we get to see Ash do various things that I don't really think we got to see him do much of in the other series of Pokemon prior to this. I think we've had some series that were similar to, like, I remember the closest I can think of was when his mom asked him to do chores, and he had his Pokemon help him do the chores each time with that. But we got to see him do various things like do laundry and cook food and stuff like that. It's also fun to note that the shirt that Ash is wearing, and this is just a hidden thing, or an Easter egg, I guess you would say, the shirt that Ash is wearing, the symbol on it is the Pokemon sprite that was used way back in Red, Blue, and Yellow to represent water Pokemon. So I thought that was pretty cool that Ash actually had that style of shirt. It's a nice callback. So when Ash does laundry, he does the mistake of adding too much washing powder to it, so it ends up overflowing the entire washing machine. Classic leave your kid alone and have him do chores himself type deal. And then he fixes food, and it comes the infamous scene where he spits out all of that glitter, which is a nice way to screen cap, because it's just a nice looking picture to see Ash just blurp up a bunch of glittery mess. So he figures, okay, cooking isn't going to work, but we need to get some ingredients because we used most of the ingredients while attempting to cook. So Ash and Pikachu go out to the shopping district, and they end up seeing Sophocles and Togedemaru. So they're in the shop together, and when they're doing this, Team Rocket is developing a plan in order to steal a lot of the Pokemon that are in the mall, but they're also working part-time selling like cookies or biscuits or something like that. So when they're out doing their thing, their plan involves them shutting off the power. When they shut off the power, however, they end up getting lost as to where to go specifically within the mall, and this separates Pikachu and Togedemaru from the rest of the group. And there's one thing that bothers me about this episode, and it's like Ash is a little too dumb in this particular scene. Like, I guess since we took out Clement for being slapstick as a character, we've lost our slapstick character, so now we have no choice but to make Ash the slapstick character, and it definitely shows, not just within this episode, but within episodes 1 and 2. It's definitely showing that Ash has to take the punishment now because Clement's not around to take the punishment. So what ends up happening is Sophocles, he does keep his fear of the dark, because he actually has a fear of the dark, and that was even shown in the video games. But in the anime, it's shown that he has a fear of the dark, and his actual resolution for that is Togedemaru, because it acts as a nightlight because of its electricity. But Ash ends up running into like a lot of these walls, and it gets really annoying to see him keep doing this, because it's like, Ash isn't that dumb. I don't know, it just bothered me. And Sophocles has a thing to help him track which way to go. He's got this invention to help them track which way to go, Pikachu and Togedemaru actually go through the ventilations in order to find the exit that's on the rooftop. So when they do that, they end up running into Team Rocket, and then a big battle ensues, and it's harder for them to fight without their trainers commanding them on what to do. So they run into some difficulties within the battle. However, our heroes finally do make it up, and once they finally do meet up with them, Pikachu ends up using Thunderbolt, and the Thunderbolt directs itself to Togedemaru, because the Sophocles Togedemaru has the ability Lightning Rod, which has the ability to absorb electricity so that Togedemaru can get stronger. Togedemaru takes the electricity and then ends up using its signature move, Zing Zap. And this ends up hitting Team Rocket, and they're getting hit. And once they try to fight back, it seems that they basically lost at this point and they're about to get blasted off. But what ends up happening, Beware comes up in this cool, samurai style of being on the rooftop, this really cool old-fashioned samurai anime deal, grabs Team Rocket and jumps off the rooftops, and we're done with that. Like I said, all of these Beware taking Team Rocket and running away gags are really cool. It's just really cool to see that happen. I like seeing stuff like that. I like seeing that that's going to be the running gag for Team Rocket blasting off. So then after that's all said and done, they end up, everything's back to normal. The power's back on in the mall, and they all leave. And Ash remembers, oh crap, the whole reason I left was because I never got to eat. So then Ash ends up meeting Professor Kukui, and Kukui's like, yo, what's up? Let's all go grab something to eat. And they all walk off into the sunset to grab malasadas or whatever, and the episode is over. This episode was pretty sweet and simple, short and sweet. It was to the point. It got everything it needed to get done with. This is our introduction to Sophocles, our official introduction to Sophocles. We learn who his character is. We learn that the relationship he has with Togedemaru. Also, this is a big note too, and a lot of people want me to point this out. I'm sure you guys do. Togedemaru is a female Togedemaru, and it seems to have a big liking for Ash's Pikachu. So that's gonna put a lot of shipping things together. People are gonna be shipping Pikachu and Togedemaru, and it's kind of weird that Sophocles even he points out Togedemaru's gender, even though it wasn't really essential to what was happening at the moment. He does just point it out though, so yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting that he pointed that out. But yeah, so with that said, the episode was short and sweet. It did what it needed to do. It wasn't the perfect episode, but it wasn't a bad episode either. That was just that one little gripe, was the fact that Ash has to serve as the slapstick now, since we don't have our slapstick character. So with that said, the next episode is The Marketplace Wanderer, Litten. So I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out.